Something very strange just happened today, and nobody saw it coming. What was supposed to be a powerful day of protest turned into one of the most unexpected political backfires in recent memory. If you've been watching the No Kings protests across the country, you might be wondering, what went wrong? Why did something that was promoted so loudly turn into such a quiet flop? And, more importantly, what are the consequences of what happened today? We're going to unpack all of it, including a serious and tragic event tied to one of these protests that has people asking some difficult questions about political messaging, responsibility, and what happens when tensions reach a boiling point. Let's start with what was expected. Coordinated nationwide protests under the banner of No Kings. The message? A symbolic rejection of perceived authoritarianism in American politics. The goal was to make a bold statement, but as the day unfolded, that statement began to unravel. In cities like Hollywood, Florida, events were outright canceled due to low turnout. Other protests ended within an hour. Reports came in from across the country pointing to the same thing: almost no participation. Commentators began to point out what was becoming hard to ignore. A movement that claimed to represent broad resistance wasn't able to mobilize people on the ground. Whether it was fatigue, confusion about the message, or something else entirely, the turnout didn't match the volume of online enthusiasm. Now, some are wondering, was this protest wave ever truly grassroots, or was it more performative than practical? And what does this say about public sentiment going into the election season? But that wasn't the most shocking part of the day. In Minnesota, a deeply disturbing incident changed the conversation entirely. Reports suggest that a violent act, the details of which are still emerging, may be tied to an individual found with materials referencing the No Kings movement. Law enforcement is still investigating, and nothing has been officially confirmed, but the alleged connection has already triggered intense debate online. This is where things become complicated. Because just weeks before this incident, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz had encouraged Democrats to be fiercer in their activism, a quote now being widely recirculated in light of today's tragic news. Critics say this kind of rhetoric can inflame already heightened emotions. Supporters argue it's being taken out of context. But one thing is certain: words carry weight, especially during times like these. The governor has since issued a statement calling for peace and condemning violence, emphasizing the importance of civil discourse. And while that message is vital, it's also being seen as damage control, a response to a narrative that's spinning fast across the internet. So where does that leave us? Today's events are a sobering reminder of how quickly political movements can spiral and how easily symbolism can lose its meaning when overshadowed by tragedy or low support. What was meant to be a national statement against political overreach ended up exposing deeper fractures within that movement itself. The American people deserve honest conversations, not performative protests, not slogans without substance, and certainly not actions that threaten public safety. Whether you're left, right, or somewhere in between, there's something to be learned from today: that messaging matters, timing matters, and how we engage politically matters more than ever before. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think this movement failed because of its message, or because the moment just wasn't right? Was the low turnout a surprise, or something we should have expected? Hit that like button if you appreciate honest breakdowns without the spin, and don't forget to subscribe for more coverage that looks past the headlines. Because the real story, it's rarely the one trending on your feed.